All right, so we got 12 days of school left till we get to your EOC. All right, go ahead and apply that out. I took one from your work yesterday. I made a little change to make it a little different or a little trickier. Maybe not necessarily trickier, but I think yesterday I had both of them subtraction. I think I got it. Yeah. So when you see a problem like this one, some of y'all did it a couple different ways. I saw a few of y'all distribute that 3 first. What I would recommend is not doing that. I would recommend doing your foiling first, okay? What that's going to do is it's going to make it a little bit easier with your foiling, okay? So if you foil, you got your first numbers, so 2x times 3x, that makes 6x squared. You're gonna do your outside numbers, so we got 2x, 8x, so that's plus 16x. Inside numbers, minus 5 and a 3x, so that's minus 15x. Last, minus 5 and a plus 8, so that's a minus 40. I'm going to combine, so I've got plus 1x. And we still have that 3 out in front, so we can't forget about it. And like I said, to me, that's easier to save that for right there. And then we just distribute that 3 to each part on the inside. So 3 times 6 makes that 18x squared. 3 times our 1 makes that 3x. 3 times our minus 40 makes that a minus 120. If you distributed that 3 to start with, that 3 would get distributed to just one of our parentheses. So you'd have like 6x minus 15, and it just makes it a little bit bigger numbers with your foiling. You should still be able to get the right answer or the same answer doing it that way. I think it's just a little easier to foil first. Any questions on that one? All right, so this is another one we thought we had a little bit of a hard time with yesterday. I took away the answer choices because I'm going to show you how to do this without any answer choices. We need our value of P. We need that, basically that B value there. All right. It says we got a 0 of 3. What that means is when we factor this, one of our factors is going to be equal to 0. So that means I would have a factor that looks like that, pretty much, right? that would equal 0, or 3 if I set it equal to 0, right? Everybody good with that? X minus 3, if I set it equal to 0, answer would be 3. On the other side, I need a 3x, right? I have to get 3x squared. Right? We have the 3x squared here. I have to get that. I've got a minus 6. So if I have minus 3 right there in my first parentheses, what would I multiply minus 3 by to get a minus 6? 2. And a plus 2, right? Everybody good with that? All right, so now I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to FOIL that. 3x times x is my 3x squared. X times 2 is 2x. Minus 3 times 3x is a minus 9. I'm just going to go ahead and do this at once. So that makes a minus 7x when I combine those. Minus 3 times the 2 makes minus 6. So P equals negative 7. Everybody kind of follow with what I did? Since my 0 was 3, in my one parentheses, all I did is make it a nice little easy, basically equation or expression, x minus 3. X was 3, we subtract 3 to make a 0. Then I just kind of filled in the blanks for the other parentheses with what I knew I had to have. I had to have a 3x to get that 3x squared. I had to have the plus 2 to make that minus 6 at the end. And then I just kind of FOILed to figure out what that B value is for P there. Any questions? To me, that was probably one of the trickier ones on that work yesterday. We got an exponential function. Right, we got an increase or decrease of 10%. So let's start with, what's the initial value of the car? 21,000. We got initial value, 21,000. Where does initial value go? In front of our parentheses. So initial value in front of the parentheses has to be one of those two. All right, what's our rate? We got an increase or a decrease? Let's start with that. Decrease. Decrease of what? Decrease of 10%. So we're decreasing by 10%. What does that mean we do? Subtract it from 100, and then what do we put in the parentheses? Put it as a decimal. So what am I putting for this one? 0.90. That's that one there. Oh, I already crossed off C. I didn't mean to do that even. Whoops. I crossed it off too soon. D is the correct answer, though. Who could tell me where the 17,010 comes from? It's the 81%. Okay, if you're trying to find when it reaches 81%, if you did 81% of the 21,000, that's what number you would get.